Hi, many times people ask me that are you a value investor or are you a growth investor? And really, first of all, let us see what value and growth means. And value, the way most people define it, is buying stocks with a low PE or a low price to book. But actually, that's a very restrictive definition. I mean, most people who talk value talk of Ben Graham's books. But if you look at the last edition of Ben Graham's own book, he talks of intangibles being more important than just the bricks and mortar and the machinery. And this was 50 years ago. So I'm sure if he had rewritten his books in the next editions, he would have made further changes. The other thing, of course, to remember is that Ben Graham made most of his money in an insurance company, so not really in a value company that everybody associates him with, which is the other part, that you must always look at what fund managers or investors do and not just what they say. The second thing is that whichever way you define value, no theme runs forever. So fund manager that says that they invest only in a particular style will do well for a certain period of time and not do well for a certain other period of time. That's how it works. If you look at, for example, consumer branded companies in India, they did very well in 2019 and 20 and then didn't do well in the next period. And that's what happens with all kinds of themes or with sectors. And any fund manager who says they invest only in their circle of competence is essentially saying that they invest in their comfort zone. And also, how stocks are classified keeps changing. Facebook or Meta was classified as a growth stock 2 years ago. Nowadays is being talked about as a value stock. So that changes. So I mean, don't spend too much time on labels. In India, in the first phase of the foreign institutions coming in, some of them bought the so-called value stocks of low PE, low price to book, but those turned out to be pretty shady groups and companies which went bust, right from the DSQ, Pentamedia to some groups like Videocon or SR. They didn't manage to make money. So we talked about three things. How do you define value? Whether something you buy as value will really deliver or is it just going down the tubes? Number three, that no theme runs forever. And one more important thing, that it is not so easy to predict which theme will come in fashion. I will go to the beginning of 2023 when everybody said that since rates in the US are going up, now is the time for value stocks. And what happened? For the first 3-4 months at least, where we are now, Nasdaq was one of the top performing indices in the whole world, and Nasdaq is considered to be the epitome of growth investing, not value but growth. And yet that did very well. And why did that happen? Because that whole increase in interest rates had already been discounted by the market. And in 2022, Nasdaq had done very, very poorly. So even when you think you can make this call between value and growth, you might be completely off. So I hope it gave you some perspective on value versus growth investing.